I just started and I already give myself a rookie mark on my jeans because today's my day off. Wearing my civilian clothes right now. It's super windy out here in Southern California right now. More than we're used to. More than most people are used to, I'd say. So I'm having to remove my Garmin mount right now. Changing my stem. I'm experimenting, which is, I'm going to say that word like 30 times today. So the fun drinking game is every time I say gravel, we take a shot. Gravel. It's going to be a fun game. So I'm kind of experimenting with stem lengths. Right now I'm currently running like a super beefy, here I'll pull it out, show you my stem. There it is. Well, that's my stem right now. Super beefy stem. I'm currently running, and I love this stem. It's super, what's up guys? Super cool stem. But at the same time, I'd like to see what maybe changing the stem can do. It's super not hard to change a stem. You don't gotta do too much. You don't gotta reinvent the wheel. I don't even think you gotta take it to a real bike shop for this. Hey, Netherlands again, dude. What's up? Hopefully it's not 12 again. I think I lost some reception there, but I'm going to continue here. Yeah, it's not hard to change a stem. It's something you can do yourself. I think where it gets complicated is if you have a carbon bar. If you have a carbon bar, then you do want to be extra careful. You always want to be careful, but you want to be extra careful when you're changing a stem on a carbon bar, because doing that wrong could lead to catastrophic failure. And I guess you could say yes, that could happen with an aluminum stem too. I've seen them snap. I've seen that happen. It sucks. But long short, it's super easy to do. It's just, if you got yourself a little torque wrench, and they sell them for nothing now. When I got my first torque wrench, it was something like $50 for a Newton meter specific one, and now I get one for like $20. It's dirt cheap. So this is a 100 stem. I'm going dramatically shorter to like a 70. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Pro Max, but I got myself a Pro Max. Just happened to have something lying around. One of my friends had it, so this is going to be my new stem. Bam! It had all kinds of weird 2.9 something paint on it, so I couldn't have that. That's not sexy. I had to get rid of all that crap. So I took it off. Does anyone else mess around with their stem length? Different ones, different lengths. A lot of times you normally buy a bike and it comes with, a 90 or a 100, and that's basically what you go with, like, all the time. And to be fair, 90 or 100 is a really safe bet when it comes to a stem length, because bikes are normally designed with that stem length in mind. So going crazy and changing that might alter the way that bike kind of reacts and moves downhill and uphill, making it a little bit too twitchy or a little bit too lazy on the steering. So a lot of times it's not really a great idea to change it, but I say change it. You might hate it. Might be like, this is the worst thing ever. And then you're like, oh, well, change it back. Since I'm doing a little bit more dirt, and the dirt I've been doing is rather steep, I'm kind of thinking that a shorter stem might help on the climbing, but then hurt on the descents. Because on the descents, obviously, you really really don't want all kinds of crazy where did I put this? Right here. You don't really want all kinds of crazy, what's it called, a short stem on a descent makes it a little bit too twitchy, right? And then a long stem will make that nice and more predictable in the turning, but then I want to bring that cockpit as close as I can to myself so that when I'm climbing up, I can kind of get a little bit more advantage on the climb. And we're going to see what it does. If it sucks big times, oh well, sucks big time. I'll change it back. Doesn't take much to change it back. What was that? You said, my arms are 90% stretched. A little give left over. Yeah. I have short arms. I have short arms, short legs, short lot of things. I'm pretty short. I'm the shortest 5'9", 5'10" guy you'll ever meet. I need another, looks like a 5 or 10 mil spacer, so I'm going to grab that real quick. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to go the other route and just get a better cap here, or dust cap. One thing to make sure you be careful with when you're adjusting your stem is making sure that the bearings do sit flat again when you're done with it. You would not want to adjust your stem and then all of a sudden, boom, you realize that you made a horrible error and now your bearings aren't where they should be. Gotta use what you got. See how close we are? It's pretty close. That might work out. That is darn close. Oh, but look, there's a lip. Don't like that lip. And this is how a 5-minute job turns into like a 3-hour job. And then I end up staying in the garage way too long. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, Lord." Doesn't that just happen all the time? Like, oh, I just gotta pump a tire real quick. I was gonna go pump a tire. I'll be right back. And then 3.5 hours later, you're like, "Oh, I pumped that tire as well as had to completely change my drivetrain." You know, it happens. You went in there just to pump a tire. You didn't go to your garage to like avoid the wife and family for the whole time. And actually, I kind of enjoy my wife and family. But you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna ride tomorrow, so, real quick. Just gonna pump some air." And then you're like, "Oh, I could fix this." Then you like touch it, and then all of a sudden your whole drivetrain's off, and you're like upgrading things, and you're like, it's now been 7 hours that you've been in the garage, and you're like, "Oh damn, oops." That's how it happens, I swear. That's how it happens. Hey, these nuts in there. What up, Dave Zimbrisky? And what up? Got a couple locals. I see you guys. My garage is a mess. I'm embarrassed for it. Super embarrassed. But it all goes back to the same thing. If I was to take my time and fix all this and clean up my garage, then it would just take longer. So, priorities. If there's a common theme around this live Instagram, it's priorities. Cole Schweer's even joined. Wow. Surprised you're not asleep, dude. Appreciate you jumping on. That's sexy. So right now I'm just trying to get their correct, what would you call it, height. I could do it like this, but I prefer to see at least one on there. One. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Just put that there. Put that here. Put that there. Get that back on there. That's just beautiful. Nice. Step one pretty much done. This is what the new one's going to look like. As you can tell, it's dramatically shorter than this one. I'd say it's half an inch shorter, maybe even more. So we'll see. Just gonna see. So tomorrow I'm gonna do my best to actually take one of the long ways to work. It all depends on like a lot of factors. One of them is just like what time everything kind of gets done and ready. But for the most part, if all goes well, I'm going to try to take Shabarim to work, which means I'm going to take Amar over. Amar is a pretty good climb in and of itself, and that should be pretty fun if I could do that. I'm expecting a couple 20-25% walls in my way, but we will see. I saw where that went, luckily. No, that'd be the end of it. It'd be over right there. I used to have a little light in here. I took it off, and now it sucks because it's all dark in here. No, it's fine the way it is. Losing things. Now the question is, do I want it like this? Or should I put that little spacer, vibration dampening spacer on there? Came with this piece. I think I'll install it because maybe it has a dampening effect. If not, it's just unnecessary weight. Dude, I was so bad. When I first started like riding and started racing and stuff, I was such a weight weenie. It's like it was fun, that's for sure. It was fun, but it was really sad too, because I didn't care what my stem looked like as long as it was light. I didn't care my bars as long as they were, you know, light. I mean, safety was always an issue. I didn't just put like crap on my bike, but if one stem looked awesome and another stem looked lame, like skinny and awkward shaped, but it was lighter, I'd go with the lighter stem every time, and I do not do that now. There's plenty of 70s I could have put on there, but I put the one that looked badass because it's my bike and I care about that crap now. It's funny that when you do something as like simple as a change of stem, aesthetics do play a role. Super important part right here. Get this right. I don't really care about the level right now. I'm just caring that the spacing's correct. That's gonna help, just so that I can move the bars up or down easily. What that does for you is that as long as it's even on both sides, what you'll be able to do is just slightly loosen the stem faceplate, and just adjust a little bit up, a little bit down, the pitch like this. But if you gotta adjust side to side, that's a pain in the butt once you kind of lay the bike down to adjust the headset and tighten up all your bolts. I can just feel it a little bit too tight. So I think the rest is going to be finished off camera. I'm going to give you a quick look of what we've done. And what do you think? Look pretty nice? I like beefy stems. I don't like a stem to look weak sauce or whatever you'd call it. Well, later.